Hello and welcome to the Friday, October 25th, 2024 edition of the SANS Internet Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich and today I'm recording from Jacksonville, Florida. Today I wrote about scans that we are seeing against the development tools that are often left enabled on production websites. These are typically plugins or additional features that you may enable to help developers debug code on the website. As part of this feature set, they often leak critical information about the website, like the configuration, credentials, and in some cases do provide the ability to execute arbitrary code. I'm just going in this post over some of the scans that we're seeing for these tools. There are, of course, many more out there that I probably missed when I sort of was scanning through the logs there. If there are any that I should have mentioned, let me know and I'll take a look how actively they are being exploited. But this is certainly something that you want to proactively scan for. And while we don't have any Fortinet vulnerabilities today to talk about, instead we have one from Cisco, less severe than what we have sort of seen lately, but it's already being exploited. It's a denial of service vulnerability in the ASA and Firepower VPN appliance. So only if you have the remote access VPN service enabled, you are vulnerable, and it's a pretty straightforward denial of service vulnerability that's being triggered by brute force login attempts. One thing to point out from the Cisco advisory regarding these attacks is that they observed them predominantly originating from Tor exit nodes and other anonymizing tunnels and proxies. So there may be a blocklist approach here that can help you a little bit mitigate these attacks. Another Cisco vulnerability that was addressed that has a pretty high CVSS score of 9.9, even though it does require authentication first. But this particular vulnerability that affects the Secure Firewall Management Center would allow code execution as a root in the underlying operating system of these systems. Since I started out talking with Fortinet, this is actually a very sort of impact and execution similar vulnerability in the sense that, yes, it is a vulnerability in the web admin interface and could be exploited with an HTTP request. But again, this does appear to require some level of authentication first in order for the attacker to be able to exploit this particular vulnerability. And as I've said many times before, something like a Secure Firewall Management Center should probably not be exposed to the internet, but only be accessible via limited network sources. And Symantec looked at how mobile applications are using cloud storage services. Of course, in many cases, if you're using a mobile application, you're at least using some kind of API that's likely hosted in the cloud, but also some of the data that you're entering in the mobile application and that's being accumulated by the application is likely stored in the cloud, at least for easy synchronization. The problem is that the developers of these applications don't always keep different users' data apart properly, meaning that they're using the same credentials that are hard-coded in the application in order to authenticate the user to the cloud service. So as far as the cloud service is concerned, all the data is being stored as the same user. And once an attacker is able to extract the credentials from the application, they're able then to bypass any authentication and access control that's provided by the application and are able to directly access any user's data. The difficult part here is that as an end user, it's very difficult to figure out how your mobile applications are actually dealing with this problem. So in that case, it's probably best to be careful and to overall try to minimize the number of applications that you're using with such cloud backends, which honestly probably doesn't help you much either, so just assume your data is lost. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for listening. Next week, I'll skip one or two podcast episodes. I'll let you know which ones exactly as we get closer to it. Not exactly sure yet which ones it'll be. Likely Thursday, Friday. I'll have to see. There's a lot of travel happening next week, and I'll have to see how everything works out. Thanks, and talk to you again on Monday. Bye.